You know, I'm pretty damn proud of this face. It isn't perfect, but it looks nice. I wonder how it would look like on a Nintendo console. Jesus Christ, go back. Do I even need to introduce the Nintendo Wii? Like, seriously, it was the game of Mario Super Sluggers. That's all you really need to know about it. All you could play as a hamburger in that game. The Mii's were first conceived as a GameCube game titled Stage Debut, which would have had you take pictures of yourself on the Game Boy Advance and put them on avatars to do a bunch of weird activities like dancing and going to school and yeah, that's about it. Unsurprisingly, this never came out as a game or as a product on retail in any form. But that was Nintendo's only attempt at avatars. There was one for the Famicom, which also never got released because Nintendo only wanted to focus on games at the time, so it was shut down pretty quickly. Another example is a feature part of the Nintendo 64 disk drive, which lets you make your own avatars. However, it was for the Nintendo 64 disk drive, so it might as well have never released. But there was one more thing that really pushed the Mii's into development. Before the Mii's were conceived, there was a Nintendo DS game being developed with an avatar creator. I couldn't figure out what it exactly turned into, but I'm gonna guess it turned into Tomodachi Collection, which released in Japan in 2009. Going back on topic, this game, or whichever game it was, sparked the idea of Mii's, which were only going to be in about 3 games originally. But then an executive decision was made to make Mii's a system-wide feature, and Wii Play Motion has never been the same since. This year, the Nintendo Wii and Mii's as a whole will be 15 years old, and Nintendo is releasing Miitopia on the Nintendo Switch soon. So I thought it would be fun to talk about the beginning of the Wii series. These are games that showed the capabilities of the Wii Remote and used the Mii's as characters to put any wacky character into the games. For the games we'll be looking at today, I'll only be looking at games that require at most the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. That means no Wii Fit, no Wii Sports Resort, no 3DS or Wii U games, and also no Wii Party. Technically I should put it, but I'm just gonna no. But hey, maybe one day I'll look at all these other Mii related games. But for now, let's start at the beginning, back to 2006. Wii Sports. Where do I even begin? First off, this was a very smart pack-in for the Wii. The audience Nintendo was going for was a fairly untapped market at the time, and nobody really knew what exactly attracted them. But looking at it nowadays, if Nintendo just sold Twilight Princess as the pack-in, probably would have only attracted to hardcore fans and hurt Nintendo in the long run financially. Anyway, we got 5 different areas to check out. Firstly, tennis. As someone who can get a bit intense in something like Mario Tennis, it's nice to have this more casual option. Is it good? No. Is it a good showcase of Wii motion controls? Actually, yeah, it's pretty good, that one. It isn't very deep at all, it's pretty basic, but it does what it set out to do, which was to show everyone the power of motion controls. Next up is golf, a sport that I really don't like. It's never been my thing for whatever reason, but I gotta say, golf here is actually pretty fun. Again, it won't blow your mind, but it's done something every golf game I've played hasn't. Now, baseball on the other hand just feels off. In something like Mario Super Sluggers, hitting the ball is just a button press map to swing the Wiimote, but here you have full motion, which in my opinion can lead to more bullshit. But just because I don't like baseball here doesn't mean it didn't do what it needed to. Like I just said, you have full movement of the baseball bat, which definitely made some kids flip their shit, and I can see why in this case. Now here's a solid game. Bowling isn't really a great example of motion controls, but instead a great example of motion controls enhancing a game. Golf games can work perfectly fine with button controls. Look at Mario Golf or Everybody's Golf. The button controls obviously work. The same is true for baseball and tennis games, but bowling is something I can't really imagine being nearly as fun without motion. I have seen Clubhouse games on the Switch, which does have a bowling game, but I don't own it, so I can't make a clear statement on if it has button controls or if those button controls are fun, sadly. So we have an example of motion truly excelling for a game. Now for boxing, this is good for all the wrong reasons. You punch the Wii Remote and Nunchuck and use them to duck and dodge. Of course, it doesn't work great, but still a fun time because these characters straight up die when you hit them. Not like Punch Out where they just fall over or get knocked out. No, his spine is shattered completely. He will never walk again. The fact this is fun is concerning. So overall, Wii Sports really was a landmark game in my opinion. It showed what motion could do, what it couldn't, and how it could enhance games, and how it could put you on a watch list. Now if it's sequel we play, you are put on a list the second you own it. Wii Play was a deal and a half. For $50 you got a Wii Remote in this game, which already seems like a good deal, but then you look at a Wii Remote's regular price. Yeah, you'd be an idiot for not buying this. This was always viewed as a $10 game, nothing huge, and not something anyone ever really talked about. And it sold almost 30 million copies. Why does this always happen to me? Every time a game becomes one of the best-selling games, it's only because it's a damn trend and nothing else. PUBG sold more than Super Mario Bros. What did you do today, Dad? Anyways, we got 12 mini-games to show the Wii Remote's pointer off, from Finding Me's to Bloodshed. The first game we start on is something reminiscent of the original Duck Hunt. Here you go through 5 different stages to prove you're tough shit by shooting balloons, cans, targets, clay pigeons, and UFOs. It's actually pretty fun to get a high score in, but fairly lackluster. At least it doesn't Find Me. This is dumb. Why have a game where all you do is find a matching me? Or one that's different, and have me's that are different not count. Alright, next up is table tennis. Here you just try to keep a rally. It's fairly simple. Like I said, it's not that difficult. Pose me time. Now a lot of people talk shit on this game, which is understandable. It isn't great, but compared to what I just saw, this is beautiful. You're in a bubble and have to match other bubbles by twisting the remote all around and switching your pose. It's honestly not too bad. I'd rather play this than Find Me any day. Laser hockey! This is just Pong. Literally just Pong. Only difference is you can move the puck all around, which makes it way less fun and like you have no control. Now, billiards is probably one of the better games in the collection. It's a classic game of pool, 9-ball style. Just move the Wii Remote back, thrust it forward, ball homicide ensues. It's just a relaxing time overall, even if I am terrible at the game. Now, fishing. Have you tried fishing cardboard? Yep, that's Wii Play fishing. It's fine, it's passable, it's just not all that entertaining really. Some fish give you bonus points for a period of time and... Finally, my resume has something noteworthy. Now, charge is not fun. This is my first time ever playing this and it just feels unnatural. Like when I turn, I either don't turn enough or I turn hard and hard. Either way, I just don't like it. Your main objective is to kill all scarecrows. They started war with the Weed Cow faction, that mean they gotta die. But really, your main obstacle is the controls. Okay, the other games range from kinda neat to what the hell was going on here, to whatever the hell Pose Me is, but Tanks? Tanks is actually a really solid game. Objective is simple, destroy all tanks. Each one has a different set of properties that you can tell by their color. Kinda like the apes from Ape Escape if I could compare it to anything. Some place mines, some shoot rockets, some are invisible, and all are some degree of annoying. And seeing every variation is actually kind of rewarding. Best part is, it is actually pretty damn difficult, so if you want to get your money's worth of this game, Tanks is how you do it. This could honestly work as its own like $15 eShop game, it's so good. And yep, that's Wii Play. It's a $10 game, it does its job honestly and can be kind of fun. But as one of the best selling video games of all time, yeah, no. Well, let's go to the final game we'll be looking at today. Just kidding! Back in 2008, Nintendo thought it would be funny to develop a chess game that didn't use the Wii Remote's pointer, the Mii's, had basically no content, and to not release it in North America, but release it in Europe for 30 whole Europe schmeckles. That's literally the entire game. It's not a bad chess game, it works pretty well, but on the Wii specifically, this is pretty stinky. I mean, you were originally able to play chess online, which was cool. That feature is as dead as my face, so I can't check that out. So here's a little fun fact about the time for this segment. This was developed by the second group in Nintendo SPD, and now defunct Crit Nintendo that helped out with a ton of smaller games. They made Tetris DS by themselves before this, and they apparently helped Game Freak with development on the DS Pokemon games. I say apparently because I couldn't find an actual source on Wikipedia. Okay, fine, I'll give you what you want. Wii Music! Just a little fun fact before going in, this cost me money. Why is that important? You'll see why soon enough. So we start off by being taken hostage by Sebastian Toot, otherwise known as the embodiment of a tumor. In exchange for your life, you are forced to swing the Wii Remote helplessly to pretend to make music. Problem is, this is the Wii Remote. No way in hell are you gonna make accurate music with outdated technology from 2006. It just isn't happening. Oh great, it wants me to play with the nunchuck. I don't know, I think my nunchuck is bugging out from too much dust. I'm not gonna blame the game itself for that though. Alright, now we're finally playing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star poorly. Oh, Seth Tugler over here wants us to know that we can add our own spin to the song to give it our own touch. And by that I mean he forces you to by registering one swing of the Wiimote as two. Actually, such a good mechanic if you want to take music seriously, I love it. But okay, if you want me to play it my way, then I will. Finally, we're put into what this game refers to as a jam session. It's basically the same as the tutorial, just with more tortured souls. And that's Wii Music! There's more, isn't there? And that's when I learned that I was both right and also kinda wrong. On the menu, there are 4 main options for you to shove your face into, along with a Wii Balance mode, which I am not checking out today, and my favorite option, return to the Wii menu. Anyways, first up, Wii Sports Jam Sessions, which I literally just went over these. Then there's an option to save videos. Neat option and all. You can even make your own dumb covers, which is cute. But why is this the same size as every other mode on the menu? When developing an interface, you should make more important sections larger and less important ones smaller. Smash Ultimate does this wonderfully, and so do Kirby games. This just tells me that saving videos is just as important as the mode that's the main selling point. And that's just not true. But whatever, I'm nitpicking really. But that's because the rest of the game is, you can go through lessons, which I hear lets you go through all the parts of the song from Skid Wizniak. When I started up, it literally just went through the tutorial again. My time is worth more than this. Shocking, I know. Finally, the most in-depth option. The games. But isn't this already supposed to be a game? We got Mi Maestro, which lets you conduct an orchestra, but making their job a living hell is way more fun. Then there's Handbell Harmony, where you have to swing your bell at the right time. I have multiple issues with this. 1, Wii Music likes adding its own extra notes whenever the hell it feels like, which I discussed earlier, so getting a good score probably isn't happening. 2, I'm left-handed and you have to hold the remote and nunchuck in the right and left hand respectively. There's no invert option, and that just makes my hands feel weird. And lastly, this just isn't very fun. Well, maybe the last game will be better. Pitch Perfect. This is just a bunch of music quizzes. At least actually no, they don't do anything. Literally nothing. Wii Music is a mediocre Wii Play minigame expanded into a $30 experience, and it sure as hell has the quality of one. It works, it functions, but it's just not fun in any way. Wii Sports worked because it was actually a lot of fun. Wii Play was pretty enjoyable and it also had Mii abuse. At least Wii Chess was fun if you liked chess. So I guess that was the Wii Series. Before it started going sicko mode in 2008 and 2009 with Wii Fit, Wii Motion Plus, Wii Party, and eventually the Wii U and Nintendo 3DS. Well, I guess it's time to head out. Play too many Wii games and you're contractually obligated to go outside.